to Santa Sabina, and that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. And there, we, as with I suppose all schools, we were shown the videos and the things on the poor or oppressed overseas. But they also taught us really that you had to sort of do what was right for you, and so that's how I sort of was going to teach handicapped kids, and this is how it ended out, just helping people on the streets.
I went out on my night patrol one night and saw what went out on there and thought, you know, I'd like to be able to offer just a little bit more time. So it was good to start with night patrol where I had the safety of the van and got to have a little bit of a look around for my first go.
Is there this many people around all night?
Usually it's busier when we're out here. It's fairly quiet tonight, actually.
Do you feel safe in the van?
We've always felt safe. We find that people respect us, and just as we respect them. They're really, to us, they're just like us, and they're our friends.
Before night patrol, the homeless and the poor were just cliches in my mind, and everyone was the same, and there weren't any personalities there. I thought that they were just these bodies and that all they did was drink and they didn't seem to feel.
You alright?
Of course I'm alright.
You got somewhere to stay for tonight?
At night patrol I got to meet a few of them and got to know them a bit and suddenly realised that they're normal. That this could be so-and-so from anywhere, this could be anybody. David's been on the streets for a long time, and the first time I met him was pretty hard, but then as we got to know each other, he actually became a pretty good friend. He's much younger than he looks, but he's been drinking for such a long time that it's made him look pretty old.
G'day.
What's your name?
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
How long you been down here, Dave?
Bloody day, mate. All bloody day.
All day?
Yeah.
And all night?
That's right. Want a drink, Rosie?
No, thanks, you never been.
Well, Ricky's a young boy who's been on the streets for some time, and he comes from a house where there was sexual abuse. Apart from that, the house was really normal. He went to a private school and did his school certificate, but now he's on the streets. Ricky's got to earn money somehow to get the drugs to make him forget about what happened, so he sells himself to earn his keep. If you like, he gets the drugs to make him forget.
How do you have it?
Black, 2 sugars.
All right.
3. Right, thanks.
Coffees?
No, just 1 coffee.
They all have a very similar story in a lot of ways. Something's gone wrong in their childhood. There's some reason they've left home, and it's often not a choice that they leave home. It's an act of desperation. Well, most of the kids, dare I say, would have been sexually abused or abused in some way at home. And a lot of them just can't cope with that, and that comes to a head.
Well, it's a real cycle, because when you're on the streets and you're cold and you haven't had anything to eat and have no money, someone says to you, I'll give you $200 for a night's work. Well, you let yourself go just this once. Then they have to give you something to help you do what you don't want to do, and with the money you've earned from doing that, you buy more drugs. And then you have to work more to get more drugs until you've got full-blown addicts. And that's how people like Jean and Ricky end up like that. It's sort of a cycle. It doesn't just happen overnight and suddenly they're junkies.
With Jean, I met her quite a few times after the initial meeting. And often they were just, g'day, how you going? Oh, great, oh, goodbye, got clean fits, that's it. But then as we got to know each other a bit more and I sussed her out and she sussed me out, there became a bit of a trust and friendship between us.
And so when she did need a bit of help, I could put her in the right direction.
Saw Paul yesterday. Oh, good. How is he? He's really good. Oh, that dag of the century. What's he
I don't judge them on their appearances. I try to get to know them a bit before I make any personal opinions about them.
Yeah, everything else.
And in terms of Christianity, I've just learnt that I'd prefer live it than preach it.
There's a lot more poverty in Australia than people realise. And, there's incredible loneliness, apart from material poverty, which is pretty self-evident. Loneliness, that's a major form of poverty. Hi,
Hello.
I'm Steve, this is Mary, we're from Savings and Paul.
Oh. Who sent you?
Social Security gave us, I know what it's like to have been lonely at times, you know, like everyone has. I feel a need to go to reach out to other people. If you don't mind, we might come back in sometime this week and just check that you're okay, and if you don't need anything, if that's all right.
Okay.
The more you open up to people, the more you reach out to people, I think the more you grow as a person yourself. The parish that I was in Ballarat had a lot of single-parent families, and it's a fairly poor area with a lot of need. And I saw the need, so I sort of made inquiries as to how I could best do my little bit. You're in someone's home, which I think is something pretty special. In some cases, someone's room or their flat is the only thing that they've got to call their own, their only space.
It's nice to have someone to talk to.
Have you got anyone to look after the baby while you're in hospital?
No, I don't. Actually, I don't know many people around here. So...
She was a bit reticent too. I guess I would be too, so a stranger knocking on my door. But after a couple of visits, we sort of started to hit it off really well. A lot of people are a little bit cautious because they've been hurt that many times that they don't particularly feel like exposing themselves and making themselves vulnerable. But once the trust relationship develops, it just progresses like a normal friendship. Or well, sort of the first time in prison was a bit of a shock. It sort of was something I wanted to do, new experience. Yeah, I'm from Savings and Paul. The chaplain asked me to visit, said that you might like someone from the outside to visit. I met Jim in prison. One of the chaplains asked me would I mind visiting him because he was my age for a start. He didn't have any family here in Australia, or none that sort of wanted anything to do with him. So, I just started visiting regularly, and he's become a very good friend. So how's your week, mate?
Oh, each week's much the same as the other around here.
Yeah, I guess it will be. Did you play footy this Sunday?
Yeah, we got up.
A place full of rapists and murderers and sort of hard people. And sort of, I very quickly learnt that they're very ordinary people like you and I. Who, for one reason or another, have wound up in the system.
I'm never going to hear from them. I mean, that's the way it's always been. That's the way it's going to be. I mean, I'm not going to hear from them.
Yeah, it's a bit hard, isn't it? Well, it's very similar to home visitation. I mean, they're very hesitant at first, but once you go there week after week, on a regular basis, they soon get to know your face anyway. And they trust you. Whereas you can't blame them for not sort of feeling comfortable with someone who's new, because that's a lot of these guys have been hurt, and that's their turf, you know. You know, when he was released, I helped organise a flat and sort of, you know, kept visiting him as often as I could. I don't think clerical's really your style, mate.
I want to be like one of those little girls, eh?
Well, Jim found it difficult initially because he'd been in and out of institutions for so long. In terms of getting a job, he wasn't very confident of his own abilities, although he had a fairly responsible job in the jail. When you're looking after the machinery store in the garden.
Oh, yeah, but it's like it's different outside, isn't it? It's
very much the same sort of work. He just needed a bit of general persuasion, I think. Loading and unloading. I mean...
Oh, g'day, Steve. How you doing?
Yeah. Good. Just thought I'd come around and say how you going in your new place.
Oh, you want to come and have a look?
Yeah, bloody yes.
That's all right.
Well, it's very difficult for them, people to get houses. It's very difficult to explain the gap in the rental history, you know. It's not a good reference that you've had bed and breakfast at Her Majesty's for, you know, a while.
There's a few things to do to it yet, you know, but that's the way it is, isn't it? And out here, mate. And this is the grass.
Magic. Made me a lot more aware of the incredible complexities of people. Just the depth of people.
The kids that we work with, they come from homes around town. A lot of them come from single-parent families, families on the dole, that sort of thing. We do have some other kids from the refuges and stuff like that. A lot of them get either referred to us by the Vinnie's Conference or through the welfare agencies. Firstly, I joined the school conference where I was going. It was a Morris Brothers school. And we did the other things as well as doing the children's camps. We visited homeless men's hostel. We visited a drop-in centre that was open to anybody, young and old. And we just did a lot of conference sort of work besides the children's camps as well. We get a lot of different people. They can be young people. In their teens even, and then you've got the older fellas, the guys that have been alcoholics for a long time. How was your meal?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Kids camps are heaps more satisfying, for me anyway, because the kids get a chance to get away from the home lives that they've been living, you know, the abuse or the poor atmosphere of their home, and I guess because their parents are so preoccupied with other things, you know. The kids find it really relieving to come out and beat up on a few other kids and beat us as well.
What's your name? Sorry? Right, Kyle, my name's Louis. Adam? Shane?
Christian.
Hi, Christian. Look at the camera.
The kids will come in on the bus effing and blinding, basically, and and beating each other up, and hopefully by the end of the camp they're not nearly as violent or as stressed out as they were when they came in. And, you know, there's a lot more, I guess, hugging and general communal activity.
What always works so well is that we've got sort of half of the team is so new and half are sort of experienced and been here for quite a while. I guess that's what's so good. I was also a bit concerned because my last camp was just dreadful.
I was there.
Some of the kids were really awful and it was so wet and it was really quite difficult. But this one's just been a breeze and it's just been so great. And the kids have just been terrific, hanging off you all the time.
Yeah.
Since I started with my work in the St Vincent de Paul, my ideas towards Christianity and religion have changed. Basically because I don't see a lot of worth in the religious side of things where people just go to church on Sundays and see their faith as between the brick walls. I'm more impressed by the people who really go out and are challenged by their, I guess, what they see as their Christian calling. Yeah, the campfire's quite good because it gives, I guess, because it's such a close thing and fires, I don't know, just something spiritual about the fire that even old people and young people, even the small kids can relate to. And you get together around the fire and you sort of put your arms around each other and it's sort of a real closeness. I guess one of the real positive experiences I had was on a camp, and it didn't turn out so positive at the start. There's one of the kids who had an intent to kick me in the head when I first got out to this camp, and I thought, well, something must be bugging him, so I took him outside for a while, and he was pretty intent on beating the bejesus out of me. So I just persevered with it, and towards the end, after we'd been sitting in the rain for about half an hour, he sort of opened up and, you know, he had all this real bad aggression and tension inside of him just from his family situation. And in the end, it was just a real humbling experience, you know, to see that happen to such a young person. I guess it really affected me emotionally, and both of us ended up in tears about it.
It's a lot of hard work, but it's also extremely fulfilling. And if it was so terrible, I don't think I'd stay, but it's just really rewarding to see someone who's been wherever and has done the work themselves. I mean, there's no magic cure or hex I can put on them to say, right, you're cured. It's up to them to do the work, and maybe I can put them in touch with someone who can help.
I guess going out on your own, you can, even in that sort of spiritual situation, you can tend to feel isolated and alone. And in some ways, you can tend to take on a bit much yourself. I think working in a team like a conference, you tend to have a lot more people as sounding boards, someone to, you know, nibble an ear on and really sort of let out what's been going on.
Shine, buddy!
Well, I think that anything worth doing is worth doing properly, and I sure as hell get more out of it than I ever give.
It's a challenge, and I enjoy a challenge.